Hello, this is Arcades, and welcome to a bit of a tips and tricks build video here on Stormworks Build and Rescue, and I thought I'd take a whack at some missiles this time. So, we're going to look how to turn these little presets, doodads, into a little bit more lethal versions with minimal effort. So, yeah, hope you like what you watch, hope you enjoy what you see. If you do, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Helps out the channel immensely, and yeah, let's get into this. Okay, as I said, so if you're not familiar, what these two things here are the preset missile launchers they have when you go to load stuff on the workshop, or, well, not on the workshop, the workbench. Yeah, when you're over there, they have these sitting in there as example presets for using laser-guided missiles and the radar missiles. Just FYI, I have their buzzers disconnected. So they're not going off, but you can see the lights are flickering, so they're registering the targets out here. See, the thing in particular is actually this is seeing their lasers, but I will get into that in a moment. So, but yeah, so let's go over them real quick. What we have here is first, this is the radar tracking, missile tracking thing, and then, yeah, that sounds professional. The radar tracking missile preset example. And then here we have the laser missile example that they're in the presets. Now, how they have these set up is they have these really wild pitch controls. So you can, or very limited range controls. And they have a radar on the base here with a radar missile on thing. So you use this to find the target, and when it lets off the sound and light, it says, hey, you're targeting something. So it means, hey, the missile is set up too. So then all you gotta do is fire from there. That's the idea. And then you just come over here and you just hit fire. And you see, it's not horribly inaccurate, but it could be better. The user interface is not very friendly, and it does have a few problems, which I will go over in a moment. Then you have the laser one. The laser one uses, well, the laser sensor. And as you can see, we have this on here. Again, same setup. They actually have they have a base detector to tell you, hey, it's good, while the missile has its own. And right now, it requires something, however, and that is a laser pointer to activate the system. Now, because those are active, it's registering the missiles. But in the example, you would actually get in the seat, you would use your WASD to move the gimbal around to pick a target, say like this out here, which there is an add-on that gives me these targets, and I will tell you about what it is later. So, and I will put a link for that add-on in the description. It's great for targeting like this. And then once you get out of that, you would get out of this because you're done with that. Then you would take your system and use these pitch controls to change the angle of the missile to give it a good fire lead, and then as you can see, they're somewhat reliable. The issues that come up is actually kind of interesting. So I basically wanted to take these and put them inside the workbench and try to work them up to make them better. So the big thing was to give them a better interface for the missile controls, as well as up their ability to actually fly. So in the end, you turn out to using the look. Now, because this one's radar guided, not sure which one it's going to grab, but we fire it off. As you can see, got a nice smooth hit. And this one's the laser guided one. And we will go even farther. Instead of just the stationary targets, with the improved laser system, make it a more accurate system to target with. Yeah. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a brief overview of what's going on with the defaults and how you can improve them to make a reliable, decently reliable missile system with little effort. These won't be 100% accurate. They will miss, but we're trying to hedge our bets and give ourselves the best possible solution to trying to hit the targets. So, okay. So we're now in the workbench, and as I said, we're here on the thing. So if you come up to presets tab, you will see the two. You got the missile tracking and the missile laser. We're going to take a look at the missile tracking first. This is the radar guided one. So mind the beeping for a moment. But you can see it has found a target. It's activated true, and this is all good to go. But when you go to fire it, it has a bit of an issue. Got to aim up a bit. It doesn't react very well, and it doesn't seem to track the target. And this is also true if we go over to the missile laser one. Now, first of all, the fact that you have to set up the laser with this first, with the gimbal camera on the preset, means you can only really use it on stationary targets. But as you can see, it has locked on and has figured how to go. And it has its own set of controls for the base. I always suggest, if you're going to try to use these, always pitch up a little bit. And then you fire. And it forgets. So it saw it, but couldn't track very well. Now, I was testing this out and trying to figure out what was going on. Well, for the radar one, I figured out it always kept falling. Like, it had a hard time tracking upwards. It's kind of like the missile was initially designed to go from air to ground. Or possibly air to air, but it was easily defeatable by just basically things going up. It couldn't climb very well. So I just went into the settings of this thing, and I ended up just changing the burn rate, which this is how much power it actually outputs, to 100%, and then bring the fin influence up to 100%. And we'll bring up the angle a little bit so it doesn't initially crash. And then fire. As you can see, that was already a way better tracking ability. Okay, so to help with its agility and its ability to turn, we're going to actually make a little bit of modification. We're going to go ahead and grab the radar head. We're going to bring it up one. We're going to come here and we're going to grab a missile body piece. Then we're going to rotate it forward so the little blue arrow is facing the direction of travel. The one up front. Then, as you can see, it has rotating arrows indicating the yaw control and then the pitch control on the side. Well, we're going to change this to the opposite of those because this is going on the front. So we're just going to hit U, and that reverses the yaw left and right. And then we come down here, we'll hit O, and that reverses the pitch. And then we will just place this right up front. And then we'll remerge the missile head back to that. Then just take the composite data from the missile output and just put it right on here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the fin influence down, because we can't have it more powerful than the rear fins, because these are our main controls. These are just helping turn the front of the missile, so this has less work to do. But if we do this too hard, if the force that this is outputting is greater, it will actually start maneuvering in the opposite directions. So we need this to be less than this. As long as you have it less, you can bring it within that range. I'm just starting with 50 for this. So, go and spawn it. Pitch it up a bit. And boom, right there we go. That already there is already a more successful hit. However, if we use this add-on's other systems, let's spawn a plane. And you'll see in the background, there is a plane. I'm going to pitch it up, so hopefully it prioritizes the plane. And you can see this is already kind of a pain trying to have to target this plane. So we're not done yet, because this is completely impractical. And now we have to wait for the plane to circle around. As you can see, into our field of view, and fire. And it makes things awkward. So, we need a better way to point the missile at the target. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to replace these. You know, these are gone. And then we're just going to grab, let's extend this out a little bit. And we're going to grab a seat. You can use anything that has a look. What we're going to do is we're going to use a look system. So I have a previous video that covers the look, how to use look X and look Y. So I would suggest giving that a look. But for the time being, we're going to get the compact pilot seat. We're just going to put it down right there. Then we're going to grab 2 function blocks. And we're going to put one on the left, one on the right, so it just makes it easier to figure out. One here, go X times 4. X times 4. This has to deal with modifying the outputs from the look so that it can translate to the pivot's inputs, so they will operate properly. And then we take the look X, put it into this one. Then we take this one and put it into the pivot base. So that is our look X. Then we'll take the look Y, put it into this one. Take this one, put it into the pitch base, or the pivot that's managing the pitch. And we are set up. Now, for a little extra flair and to make it easier to find the target, I'm going ahead and grabbing a laser distance sensor. This is not needed. This is just mainly to help out with the targeting of the system. So you can put that right there. Its orientation really doesn't matter. Just put it along line with the radar, and that should be good enough. And then you would take the... normally, you would come in here and grab the data for the fact it finds a target, translates it out, and then you can use that to activate the laser. Or you can just use a constant on. Either way, it's your choice. If you want me to get a little more in depth with that, just go ahead and say that. But for the time being, off of this display, you can just grab the output of this microcontroller and put it right into the laser, and it will activate it when the radar detects a target. Okay, so for the last bit, we just need to take our trigger and put it to the launch status of the connector for the launcher itself. Now we've made those adjustments. The thing now uses look to control the pivots and allow you to aim. So all we need to do is find the target. You have a laser pointer that's giving you direction and then allow you to lead the target with a missile. Boom. And down it goes. With those few adjustments, you now have a more reliable missile system just from the default. I know it's hard to see from the particle effects, but yeah, went to take down a drone. These drones are actually one of the fastest targets that this add-on has available by default. And boom, there it goes, another hit. So now you're asking, what about the laser? Well, the laser itself, the laser system, is actually pretty much the same. It'll be the same adjustments, except just a different warhead. Okay, now we've got the laser missile sensor test set up. Now for this one, I have already made the changes to the missile. I have adjusted the booster power, the fin influence, and I've added the second forward fins, as well as adjusted their influence. Now the thing is, for the lasers infrared, these laser sensors, they need a laser beacon to find. So you either need a laser pointer, like say off the gimbal camera, or off of the laser distance sensor, or even, if you're crazy enough somehow to do it, there is the laser beacon. This means a laser beacon light that the laser sensors can track. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to be using not the gimbal camera. We're going to be using this sensor right here. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and grab it. We will attach it to the base of the missile launcher. Orientation doesn't really matter. It does have arrows, but, you know, like I said, does not really matter. Then we're going to hook up our number one hotkey to this. Let me hook up the power real quick to it as well, so that we can turn on the laser as we need to. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add our function blocks again. We're going to take our look X and hook that up as appropriate. Our look Y and hook that up as appropriate. And then I'm going to adjust the speed of these because they start out really slow and we just want them to react as fast as they can. So thus, will max out their speed. Something I also would like to note with these default these presets, their pivots are actually on backwards. So if you don't want to adjust the pivots, you can actually change the thing to -x × 4. You're just inverting the number is all you're doing. But if you want to actually fix them, though, you need to just simply find the pivot, cut it for the X, and just hit U, and that will orient it properly, and just remerge in to where it needs to. And the same thing goes for the pitch one. Just cut it. And I know it's hard to see. Just need to bring it up then to where you can see it. Hit O. That'll take care of it, and then just place it back down. And then hopefully you can remerge the sections together. So you can either just hit -x inside the equations, or you can reverse the pivots so they are appropriate. And then lastly, grab the trigger, attach it to the launcher body, and we are good to go. So we have one that turns on the laser sight for the distance sensor, and then we have this thing set up on the look, and then we have the trigger for fire. Okay, and so with that, we have our launcher. Note to self, when you do this, make sure your seat is far enough away from the launcher. But yeah, so we can now hit 1, turn on the laser. Let's see. It now sees the target. And there we go. We got a hit. It's not perfect. The system does have, it's still not like super accurate, but hey, it becomes way more usable, way more lethal, and you can bring it on proper targets. So okay, now quick sidebar. Now that we've gone over the missiles and their adjustments, this is an add-on I like to use for target practice. I will put the link for the add-on in the description. But this add-on I'm using for the targets is this one, the Hebus target drones. This one is what allows me to, when you have it activated, it's here at the creative base. It gives you ability to spawn stuff at the base. And instead of spawning in the hangar, you can actually choose to have it spawn out here at the range, at which at these ranges, you can spawn different targets. Now, they did adjust it so that people could make add-on targets. You know, and there are a few on the workshop. Didn't really care to pick them out for this demonstration, but they are on the workshop. I think one adds a helicopter. And yeah, so it gives you info. You can adjust different things, but I normally just, you know, pick up the different targets. You know, you can like spawn a parachuting target. Like right there. Yeah. And go after that. Or you have a plane. Oh, there it is. And then you have the drone. This is generally a jet-powered, like, straight line device. And if you hit it multiple times, you can actually spawn multiple. You can see right there. There's, like, 2 drones right there. And then we have the target ship. believe it. And you see, second target ship, because there was the first one I spawned and hit. And then you can actually do a torpedo. Oh, right there, torpedo. And then you can spawn a small boat called Septaret. See, right there. And finally, you can actually spawn float targets, which I was using earlier on. Oh, there's the torpedo in the background. So, yeah, it actually puts out a bunch of different targets, and then if you can hit that one, and it'll clear them all out. So, yeah. Yeah, so that was the Hebus drone targets. Okay, so went over how to take basically the two preset missile launchers, make a few changes to the missiles to make it a little bit more better to work in the simplest way that I could figure out, and then showed you how you can incorporate look data outputs of the seats to create a base that will allow you to lead the targets and basically just be a better user interface. So, yeah. So, hope you like to watch. Hope you enjoyed receiving. If you did, you know the deal. You know the spiel. This is Arcades signing out. Have yourself a good day. Whee! Oh. Not my fault.